Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Gridiron's Guide with JD. This is episode 4, week 4 of the podcast. And man, this is probably like the most well-rounded game the Browns had this season. Not only did we beat the Baltimore Ravens, we straight up punked Baltimore Ravens. 40-25, blowout victory in Baltimore. They didn't want none. That third-ranked run defense of Baltimore got exposed. Nick Chubb got over 180 yards on the ground. 3 TDs. Like, if anybody needed any more confirmation of Nick Chubb being a feature back and a potential franchise running back, this was the game that he had. This game, the game he had last year with Oakland. I know I think he had on like 3 carries in that game against Oakland. I think he got like over 100 yards and 3 carries. That when we still had Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley. But enough about that era. This game was, of course, focused around Nick Chubb. You know, Jarvis Landry finally had a game, a real game, where he got like 8 catches, over 100, I think 160 receiving yards. You know, and he could have had a touchdown had he not stumbled over himself. But I know he was probably exhausted, taking all those hits, and he also had to go to the concussion tent for concussion protocol, which he's in still right now. So hopefully he'll be ready for next week. I hope so. And, we get Antonio Callaway back. So if Landry can't make it, we'll have Callaway back, another speed threat. Plus, we'll also have Rashard Hollywood Higgins. That will also be another addition, another piece of depth for the Browns offense. And man, I will say this before I get, deep into the, game, what happened. It was a great back and forth game until the third quarter came, because then it was like all Cleveland. Like, as a Browns fan, like, you might say, man, Alec, you've been there before. As a Browns fan, we're not used to seeing, the Browns dominate people. We're not used to seeing Browns and winning streaks. We're used to seeing Browns and losing streaks, and just Browns and losing. We ain't used to seeing Browns and them doing this. This is not normal for Browns fans. So, is it Alec, you've been there before? Nah, we ain't act like we've been there before. I'm not going to act like I've been there before, because we haven't been there before. So, we beat the Baltimore Ratbirds this week. Beat them like they stole something. Like I said, that run defense that held the previous 3 teams to like 60, 65 rushing yards a game, third best in the NFL. They're going to take a dip. They were not the third best run defense. They got exposed early and often. It was like damn near all game. I think they had like maybe 4 plays. I count one hand how many plays they had where they held Nick Chubb or Dontrell Hilliard like negative yardage of like 1, 2, 3 yards. Like every play was like at least 4 to 5 yards, like on running plays. And another thing, we have to acknowledge Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens, his playbook, his fingers were all up in the playbook. It was like the first 3 weeks, let's say like if this was like his playbook, this piece of paper, and he was just doing this. Just holding it back in one hand, going back and forth in the first 3 weeks. Not really, infusing his play calling from last year in it. Just, let Todd Monken, do, I don't know. They was probably, trying to mix his playbook with Todd Monken's. I remember last week I said they should probably include more Todd Monken's play calling. Maybe that was his play calling, because the first 3 weeks, now I think about it, they did a lot of deep passes, and that's what he did with the Buccaneers last year, with Jameis Winston, Mike Evans, and those boys. So maybe this is more Freddie Kitchens just calling more of his own plays from last year instead of fusing his own style with those reverses, with those pitch plays, with the play action. We saw him in single back formation multiple times. And this week, this was Freddie Kitchens with the playbook. Just his fingerprints all up in the playbook, all around the playbook, just doing what he has to do. That was him infusing his touch all in the playbook that week, because that showed like the playbook from the first 3 weeks to this week, week 4, was night and day. It wasn't 5 receiver shotgun set. It wasn't constantly shotgun. Baker throwing deep passes repeatedly to missing players, throwing interceptions, throwing dangerous throws that can get players like OBJ, Damian Ratley, and Landry hurt. Keep in mind, we didn't have Njoku, but we have another receiving tight end and Ricky Seals-Jones. We have another receiving tight end and Demetrius Harris, who has connections with John Dorsey because they're both from Kansas City. So I get what they're trying to do. Like, they want Baker. I think the way they want Baker to work is as a game manager. And I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's a game man. I'm not trying to downplay Baker Mayfield. I'm not trying to downplay his skill or anything. Because if he can make the right throws, throw it when he needs to, and if they let the running game just dictate these games, because for Brown's offensive line that was leaky, they played for the most part pretty well. I would give them overall a B. Maybe even a B plus because the running game was solid. The passing game, I think they sacked Baker Mayfield one time. That was the third play of the first quarter, and I think they got another QB hit. That Baltimore Ravens pass rush, which I knew wasn't really that good, it showed they were not that good. Like I said, Ravens defense, man, all those stars they lost in the offseason, C.J. Mosley, Eric Weddle, they lost another linebacker. Yeah, I know they got Earl Thomas, who looked pretty slow, especially on that Nick Chubb run. Earl Thomas, that age, that leg injury and that age is starting to catch up to him because that speed is starting to creep down. He's not that fast like he used to be back in the Legion of Boom days in Seattle. But still, man, like the Browns O-line looked competent. The fact that we use big 2-3 tight end sets was a staple of Freddie Kitchens last season. We brought that back, and whether or not those plays were good, even that triple that triple reverse play action pass, which I was like crapping my pants. I'm like, what in God's name are they doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't ever do that again. That actually could have worked. Had Damian Ratley caught the dang pass, that actually could have worked. That's a crazy thing. Like Odell, he stepped up in the pocket, which is something that half the quarterbacks need to do more when they're, playing quarterback every play. So it actually really could have worked. The fact that it actually could have worked shows me that Freddie Kitchens' play calling, his style is back. We need to keep that. Those 2 tight end sets. Yeah, we got to use shotgun because we have such a great receiving core, but we got 2 good receiving tight ends. When Njoku comes back from injury, it's going to be great. We got to get Callaway back for next week and play the 49ers. We got to get Higgins back because he's also a great receiver, who has a great relationship with Baker Mayfield. He catches like dang near every pass Baker throws near him. And, all in all, it was a well-coached game. Offense, defense, special teams. Let's get into the defense side of the ball. Defense, man. Myles Garrett, he was kind of on lockdown today, but his presence was still felt because even when they had 2-3 guys blocking his side, they didn't run the ball near his way. They tried to avoid him at all costs. Even when they did plays on the opposite side, I could see Myles Garrett, catching up, going around and catching up to the runners. That's how big of a factor Myles Garrett is. And they played the game plan right, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, he did his thing on the ground, of course. And in the year too, he played pretty decently. I think he got like 250 receiving passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Now, I will say this. I think Lamar Jackson got exposed as a deep passer. Throwing the ball deep, he was not good. I remember he threw it to a wide open wide receiver, threw him out of bounds, and somebody might say, well, it's about where your feet land on the sideline. Well, if the quarterback throws the ball and it leads to the sideline and you're doing the best you can to catch on the sideline and it leads you out of bounds, whose fault is that? That's the quarterback's fault. Heck, I watched the highlights on YouTube. Lamar even set his feet before he threw the ball. That was Lamar's fault. That wasn't, I think that was Willie Snead. I don't know who it was. That wasn't the receiver fault. That was the quarterback's fault. Another thing I noticed was that, he threw another deep pass, intercepted by Whitehead. Good play by the Browns defense. I think another deep pass was incomplete. But he didn't throw deep at all that much. And I think the thing is that the Ravens, I think even the Ravens know that he can't throw the ball deep. Not yet. He's still in his second year. He can grow. He will grow. I hope he becomes a complete quarterback. Because I like Lamar Jackson. I have no ill will towards him. The fact that he's a Raven. If he went to any other team other than the Steelers or the Patriots, then that'd be okay. But he'll grow because Baker needs to grow too. Baker, I remember he threw his one pass in the first quarter, which he completed, but he threw it into, I think, double coverage, and he could have got his receiver killed. It was in the first quarter, I think the second drive when we scored our first touchdown with Ricky Seals-Jones. He had the running back, I think it was Dontrell Hilliard or Nick Chubb, one of the two, sitting right there wide open. Like, take the check down. His decision making, I know he idolizes Brett Favre. I know he likes that gunslinger mentality. I don't want you getting our receivers killed by trying to make the big plays. He's still trying to aim for that big play, which is a quarterback. I know if it's there, go for it. But he's still trying to force things. Baker, I would give his overall performance a B. He's still trying to force things. He made much more better decisions. That interception, that really wasn't his fault. That was half on him for throwing it too low, half on Jarvis for not trying to go for it. But had Jarvis tried to go for that and dropped it, not only would it not been a conversion, but Jarvis probably been taken out the game with a concussion or a head injury or worse. So that was just a bad play on both sides. Baker overall 20 out of 30, 300, I think 57 yards, a touchdown, interception. He played well, not his best game, obviously, but he's played well today. One of his best games this season, I think 4 touchdowns, 6 INTs. Got to get that touchdown and interception ratio up, but we'll figure it out. He'll take care of it. If they keep playing how they played today, it will be great. But, yes, man, the defense, they also handled their business, too, because what they did is that the defense kept everything in front of them. And that's why I want to give an unsung hand clap to Steve Wilks, because Steve Wilks coached his defense's butt off. They played everything in front of them. Yeah, it's doing like a lot of dump off plays, a lot of curl routes, a lot of in and out routes to the tight end Mark Andrews, who had a good game too. 4 catches, 40 yards, and touchdown. Not much, but he did his job since he said I think had like a foot injury or something like that. But like I said, the Steve Wilks defense, they did great. They kept everything in front of them. They didn't get beat deep. When Lamar tried, he failed throwing the ball deep, which is what I wanted to see. That defensive line got 4 sacks on him. Olivier Vernon finally showed up. Schobert, he got like 17 tackles, and yeah, I know he missed a handful of tackles too. But the Browns players as a whole missed tackles. And by the way, John Dorsey needs to pay Joe Schobert because he's played his butt off and he showed why he deserved to be paid, because he got a forced fumble this game. He got a forced fumble last game. Like 17 tackles, and he got a sack too on Lamar Jackson, like deep in the third and the fourth quarter. Pay Joe Schobert, pay him. He's came up leaps and bounds. Pay the man. He deserves to get his money. I will also say, too, special teams. Special teams did their job, too. The kicker, what was he, 4 out of 4? Didn't miss no field goals. Didn't miss no extra points. He hit all his kicks. In today's NFL, field goals, like they always have, but field goals matter and extra points matter more than ever before. So the fact they hit all of his field goals is great. I know it hasn't really been, real cohesive how I go from the offense to the defense to the defense to the offense, but I'm still feeling the high of yesterday's win, man, because like I said, as a Browns fan, we don't really get wins at all. So the fact that we not only got a win, we're first place in the AFC North right now. I know people say, just chill, man. It's only 1 week. Just chill. I know it's just right now, first place, but it's still first place in the AFC North for the Browns. Not the Steelers, not the Ravens, not even the Bengals. The Browns. Well, first place in the AFC North, we play the San Fran 49ers in San Fran next Monday. Hopefully, we can expose Jimmy Garoppolo, Mr. I stole 130 plus million from the 49ers. We can expose him next week. However, they do have a lot of weapons. George Kittle is going to be a problem. Their running game is going to be a problem. Marquise Goodwin's going to be a problem. Heck, even their fullback Kyle Juszczyk, whatever his name is, Kyle something, he's going to be a problem. They got Kyle Shanahan, who's a wizard at play calling, and their defense starting to get into the groove. They got D Ford, Solomon Thomas. They have a well-rounded squad. They're 3-0 for a reason. But the one piece that hasn't lived up to their potential is Jimmy Garoppolo. That's who doesn't scare me. Y'all weapons scare me. Y'all tight ends scare me. Y'all running game scares me. Y'all wide receivers scare me. Your quarterback don't scare me at all. If we can get pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo and expose him, I'm not scared. Heck, I can call it. I think the Browns will win this game 23-16. I think we're going to win by a touchdown. It'll be close. Halftime might be 10-3, 10-7. San Fran or 10-7, 10-3 Cleveland. But I think we're going to pull off in the second half because I think the Browns are more of a second half team. I think they're more of a second half team. I think the Browns are going to pull off this game. I think we're going to be 3-2, stay in first place in the AFC North. We may have to get way to face the Seattle Seahawks at home. Another team that doesn't really scare me. I know Russell Wilson's a beast. I know he's a beast. I'll get more into that game later on this week. But right now, man, the Browns, we won. We dominated Baltimore. And keep in mind, that's games in Cleveland. So Baltimore, these next games y'all have before y'all see us again, y'all better win most, if not all of them, which that's not going to happen. But at least win most of them. Try to, because if y'all come back to us and y'all 2-3 games back, it won't even matter. It won't even matter for y'all anymore. But that's all I got for this week, man. Like I said, a dominating victory for Cleveland. Go Browns, go Dog Pound. You know, we got this. San Fran, we're going to get dubbed there next week, too. I'll give a preview on that game later on this week. But for now, you know, go Browns, go Dog Pound. We got that dub. First place AFC North. Let's go Brownies.